everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily. I am so happy that you are here with me today. In today's video, I am going to work on my design team project for Tu Casa de Papel. And in today's video, we are going to make the insert to this clutch. Now, this is part two. Part one, I showed you how to make this beautiful clutch, and if you haven't seen it, I am going to link that video down below, because today we are working on the actual insert, which is a small pocket notebook that goes inside this pocket clutch. So I'm going to open it and show you what that notebook is going to look like. I also want to tell you that I am using Tu Casa de Papel's Feliz Navidad digital journaling kits, and there are two kits. Feliz Navidad, which contains all of the beautiful Christmas papers, and then Feliz Navidad Ephemera, which contains all of the beautiful Christmas ephemera, beautiful, beautiful colors, and that is the same kit that I used to make the cover of this beautiful little clutch. So watch that video so that then you can have a clutch that you've made, and then also the little insert that we are going to work on today. So I'm going to open it and take out the insert. Okay, I'm going to set the clutch down for a second. So here is it upside down? Okay, here is the beautiful, beautiful insert. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. I used the Feliz Navidad papers to make the cover, and then I used the same technique that I used for the cover of the clutch, I did for the cover of the signature cover. So it is almost like a TN size. I measured it to make sure that it fits in the clutch, and I will go through all of those dimensions down below. I am also going to link Tu Casa de Papel's Etsy shop down below, and I have a discount code for you guys. So the discount code will be right here. So don't forget to use it. It applies to all of the digital printables that Ibette has on her Tu Casa de Papel Etsy shop, and that will also be linked down below. I can't say it enough. Don't forget to use the discount code, you guys. It is Lily20 right here. See it right here? Yeah, don't forget to use it. Okay, so that is what I use. Look at this beautiful cover. Look at how beautiful that is. It almost looks like you could feel the texture. Isn't that nice? Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. And we're going to go through all of the steps to show you how you can create your own mini pocket notebook. And then I've even added some cute little charms, and I'll show you those in just a second. They are in the center of the signature. And then at the end, once we're done completing this, I will do a flip through to show you what it looks like. Oh, I'm not going to show you that yet. But you could see it's pretty thin. I didn't want to make it too bulky because I want to make sure that it fits nicely into the clutch. And you can see the clutch. Yeah, let's see. Can you see there? Well, anyway, I will show you a close-up of it so you guys can take a look at that. But it fits so perfect into this pocket. You guys are going to love it. It is so cute. You can take it on the go. Just wrap it around. And by the way, your cell phone will also fit into this clutch along with a pen and the notebook in the pocket. So yeah, it is perfect for taking it on the go, to run your errands, for traveling, if you want to document a trip, save it for the holidays, use it as a shopping list, all kinds of things that you can do with this. So yeah, okay, I'm going to flip the camera over in just a second, and I will begin the process by flipping through the Feliz Navidad digital paper so you can see how beautiful those are. And I'm also going to show you all of the different ephemera that comes in the Feliz Navidad ephemera kit. So you'll be able to see that before I start cutting it all up and using it to create the small pocket notebook, all right? If you guys have any questions at all, please leave me a comment down below. So let's get started. Don't go away. I'm going to flip the camera over. I'm going to begin by flipping through these beautiful digital images. Remember, I am using the Feliz Navidad digital kit and the Feliz Navidad ephemera kit. And look at all of these beautiful, beautiful pieces. There are pockets, there are tags, journaling cards, sentiments, little strips that you can use as washi. Just beautiful and vibrant images that are
all about Christmas. So there are a lot of images of mother and child, little baby Jesus, and then postcards, and then a lot of a mix of color. I think Ibette does an amazing job in her digital collage work, where not only does she take the traditional colors, the reds and the greens, but she also incorporates all of these great, vibrant, beautiful colors that I just wouldn't have thought of using myself. As much as I love color, if I think about Christmas, I think about the traditional colors, and I've used others in the past, but then I stick to that one color. But she mixes all of them, the teals, the aquamarine blues, and they all coordinate so well together. And I'm looking at some of these pages because one of these will be the cover of my notebook, of the insert. And there are a few that I can actually use as the cover, and then others I can use to build the signature and build all of the pages within that little pocketbook. And so I'm just showing you and flipping through how you can use all of these. It is a beautiful, beautiful kit. So vibrant, so beautiful, and it is perfect for the holiday season. And so wouldn't this one make a beautiful cover? But then so would this one. So I was torn between the two, but remember, I'm working on several, so it's okay. I have extras that I can use to make more. So I am going to measure the pocket to make sure that I cut my pages to the right size. So the pocket clutch is 5 inches wide by 11 inches long. And so I'm going to take the digital printables that I've already printed, and these are on I printed these on HP premium copy paper. It's a little bit, the weight is just a little bit more than regular copy paper. I actually have a link to that in my Amazon storefront, which is down below in the description area, if you would like to see what type of paper I print my digitals on. And so I selected this one as the cover. I am going to give it a thin layer of Mod Podge. So if you watched part 1, you guys, you saw that I made the paper clutch from a lunch bag, and I collaged these beautiful digitals onto that paper sack, and then I gave them a coating of the Mod Podge. And that made it feel like a leather clutch. It feels amazing. It really does. So I want to do the same thing with the cover of the signature. And so I have just given it a very light coating of the Mod Podge as a sealer and also a protector, because I am not using any other type of cover to make this notebook. I want to make sure that it's going to be sturdy, and it's going to stand up to its use, because it will go in and out of its pocket. Now, because it's such a thin layer, it really only took me a couple minutes to dry it, but I didn't show you all of that drying time. Now, oh my gosh, so much information in my head that it wants to come out of my mouth all at the same time. Okay, so the pocket is 4.5 inches wide, okay? But for some reason, I cut it down incorrectly, and I'm going to show you where I make the mistake. But my copy paper is 8.5 by 11. And in order for the pocketbook to fit, I need to trim down the length of the paper. And eventually, I want it to be 4.5 inches wide, okay? But I don't know what I was thinking. I cut it down to 10 inches and then folded it in half to the 5-inch mark. And this is where I made the error, because I knew that the pocket was 4.5 inches wide, but for some reason I spaced it and cut it to 10 inches long. So that was just an inch too long, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. I didn't edit this out because I wanted to show you how you should measure twice and cut once, okay? Or sometimes what I find useful is I will write down the measurements that I need to cut just to make certain that I don't make any mistakes. The good thing though is that I didn't overcut, I undercut, so I was able to trim it a little bit more. So you could see here, my page I cut down to 10 inches in length. So I cut an inch off. So now I'm folding it in half. So it's now going to be 5 inches wide. It's going to be half an inch too wide, you guys, and I'm going to show you. So make sure when you make the clutch, because all of our measurements are going to be a little bit different. You make your clutch and you fold it and you make that pocket however you like. I do give you some basic measurements to go off of, but when you start folding and creasing and making your own clutch, it may vary. So just keep all of those measurements in mind so that when you make your insert, it fits nicely in the pocket. So you could see how it kind of was just a little bit too wide for that pocket. So I'm going to bring the cutter back and I'm going to trim a half an inch off of each end. And that's going to make my paper 9 inches. So I should have originally cut it down to 9 inches. So I should have trimmed away 2 inches. Does that make sense? So my page being 8.5 by 11, I should have trimmed it down to 8.5 by 9. So when I fold it in half, it is now 4.5 inches wide. And look, it is going to be perfect in the pocket. So I know I could have easily trimmed that out, but I make mistakes, and so I thought I would show you how it's important to measure twice, cut once. But I was able to save it here. And so now I am going to begin to bring in all of these beautiful papers that I'm going to use to form the signature. And I actually used all of the pages from the Feliz Navidad digital kit to make my signatures for this pocket notebook. All of them except one, okay? And I'll show you that one page in just a moment because I set it aside to make tabs. So I'm going to show you that also. But all the other pages I trimmed down, and by this time I already knew that I needed to trim it down to 9 inches in length. So, and that's what I do with each of the remaining papers. Trim it down to 9 inches in length. So when I fold it in half, it's 4.5 inches wide. And I'm going to just skim through this process really quick. I'm just kind of giving you a peek as to all of these beautiful pages and how they're all being cut down to the same size. So there are, I believe there are 8 pages in the Feliz Navidad digital kit. And so once you fold them in half, you've got 16 pages. So it ends up being, so you're going to have a lot of great writing space. I believe that'll be 8 times 4, 32 sides, you guys. So basically 32 pages in this little notebook. So, and it's pretty thin. And I'm going to keep everything pretty flat. I'm not going to make it bulky at all because, again, it's going into that pocket clutch, and so we don't want to make it too chunky because then it won't fit in there. And then I also, at the end of the video, I show you a few other things that I put into the pocket in case you're going to use it on the go as a clutch. You can take it with you and put other things in there, you know. So these I reserved 2 of the pages and I didn't cut these down by 2 inches. What I did is I folded it by 2 inches. So you could see that they are 11 inches in length. And at the 2-inch mark, I am scoring it and I'm folding that over. So instead of cutting it or trimming it down, I'm folding it because I am going to create a side tuck. So that is another option. And you can do that. If you don't want to cut down any of the pages, you can just you can be creative with the folds and have a tuck either on your left or the right hand side. And you can do that to each and every page if that's what you want to do, instead of trimming it down. I trimmed it down because I wanted some variation in the pages. And all of those strips, the offcuts from these pages, will not go to waste. I will set those aside and I will use them for future collage. But because they're already printed, you guys, I can also trim them down even thinner and use them as faux washi tape to embellish my pages. And I can also reserve them for future use to collage my little casitas or my little houses, the little envelope houses that I like to make, yes. So none of those scraps will go to waste. So now just folding all of them in half. And notice how I didn't do double-sided printing. Again, because I want to have a lot of writing space. So some of them obviously are printed, and then you'll have white space. White space is good because if you're going to use these as a traditional traveler's notebook, or as a to-do list or shopping list, or even a monthly planner, you want to make sure that you have some writing space, even though you can easily write over the printed sections of the booklet. So now I'm just putting my signature together, and they all coordinate so well. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where to place the ones that I'm having a side tuck on. So just, and not overthinking it, because it's going to look great regardless. And there we go. All of my little pages are now together. And look at how beautiful that looks. So this little booklet ends up being 8.5 inches in length and 4.5 inches wide. It is a great size, perfect for on the go. The center page, as I do with all of my other journals, I like it to make a statement. And so I'm reversing the fold on this one because I want the image to be center stage, just like this. So when you get to that center part, the beautiful paper will be nice and visible right in the middle. So now I'm going to set this aside for just a moment, and I'm going to start bringing in the ephemera pages. And I'm going to fussy cut these, but I'm not going to fussy cut these on camera, you guys, because that would be too much time, even though it only took me about 15 minutes to cut all of these little pieces. So it did not take long at all, and there are a lot of pieces. So it was about 15 minutes that I trimmed out of this video. This is one of my favorites right here, and it's this large envelope. It is beautiful, and you can clearly see where you need to fold it to make your pocket and to have your flap. And I'm going to use this envelope as a flip out in the pocket. And it was just, I didn't measure. I should have measured this envelope, but I kind of just eyeballed and figured it would fit in my traveler's notebook, and it did. Thank goodness that it did, because I wanted to make sure that I used it as a flip out in the little notebook. I would have made it work regardless. If it was too big, I would have, cut some of the excess, but it was just perfect. Perfect size for the little notebook. So I'm going to show you just on a few of these pieces how I put them together to make the envelopes and to make the pockets, but you'll get the idea and on how you can build these ephemera pieces. There are, like I mentioned just a little bit ago, there are journaling cards, and there are tags, and there are a few other different pocket styles. And I am going to use, I think I use just about every single ephemera piece in the notebook, and I sprinkle them throughout. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that process as how I lay them out and flip through my pages and kind of get a feel for where I place each and every ephemera piece. And right now I'm just going to gather all the pieces and I'm going to spread them out on the table. And I do this. This is a very similar process to the other journals that I create. When I'm working with ephemera pieces, I put them all out and then I thumb through my pages and start placing them. And I put them, and I'll show you, I'll get the ephemera piece, whether it's the pocket or the tag or the journaling card, and I just place it between the pages as a holding place before they become permanent. A lot of beautiful little cards that you can use as corner tucks as well, and you can make more tuck spots with these. And a lot of these can also be used as journaling cards on the reverse side. This is another pocket, and this one is so beautiful. I love that the images on the front of it. It is so pretty, and I love all of the colors. Super easy. Once you cut these out, it's very easy and visible as to where you make the folds and what sections you need to glue down to make a pocket. And this one I'm also going to use as a flip out pocket in the little notebook. Perfect spot for tucking in some of the tags that come in this kit. In this video, I'm only going to show you one of the notebooks that I make. I did have the others that I made off camera, but they're not complete. And so I'm only going to work on this one. And then in a future video, I may do a flip through, or at least show you what all of the other inserts look like with the other clutches. But I really wanted to focus on this one for the one clutch, because let me tell you what delayed me a little bit, you guys. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I thought it would be a great idea to give my loft area a makeover. And it all started because my brother is here visiting from California, and we do have a guest bedroom, and my mother wanted to get the guest bedroom all ready for my brother. And she was going to go out and buy a new bed. But up here in my loft, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that there, I showed you a crazy pictures of my loft area. But the pictures I showed you on Instagram were afterwards, how we had already moved things around and everything was just all over the place. Anyway, in the loft area, I had a futon. Well, my mother had a futon upstairs, and it wasn't being used. I just had craft supplies on top of it. I didn't need the futon. So my sister recommended that my mother just take the futon and put it in the guest bedroom downstairs, since it's not being used upstairs. And that would save my mother some money. She wouldn't have to go buy new furniture. So I had to take everything off of the futon, move everything around, of course, with the help of my sister. And we managed to take everything off of the futon. And they took the futon downstairs. So now everything is on the floor. And I have furniture for my craft area. I have desks, I have shelving, I have armoires, or armoire, how do you say it? Armoire, a cabinet for all of my craft supplies. But all of that is in the garage, and so I haven't brought it upstairs because that futon was in the way. So as I'm working on my Christmas in July, on my design team projects, now I've got the loft area. And it is, do you know how things get crazy before they get better? I'm still in the crazy part of the loft area. And I did show you a few sneak peeks. I'm trying to record the process, the makeover process. And it's going to take me longer than I thought, only because I'm, you guys, I'm busy doing other things as well. And as much as I want to dedicate entire or full days to the makeover, I have to do it in sections. And so it may take me, gosh, I think it'll take me about two to 3 weeks to get it complete. And so, but I will try to film the process and then maybe put it all together and do a video. But it's nothing major. it's a loft area, which is the size of maybe a small family room. And I will bring up a couple of my furniture pieces. Not sure exactly which ones, because I also don't want to overwhelm the space, even though I'd love to have all of my furniture up here so that everything is nice and put away. Okay, so right now I am flipping through the pages of the notebook and going through or looking at the ephemera pieces and placing them in a spot in the notebook. And I didn't realize, you guys, until now that I'm playing it back, that I had the notebook too low on the screen, and so you can only see half of it. But this is, I hope it's still helpful as I go through each page and I start selecting little tags and side tucks that I'm placing in the notebook and then holding it there, because I am going to take it to the sewing machine. So a lot of these pieces are going to be stitched, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like completed. So I took a strip from the ephemera kit that is on the right hand side because I wanted to use that as a side tuck as well. It's kind of too wide. So I do go ahead and I trim just a tiny bit off of, see, you can see that on the right hand side, just so it's not so wide. And nothing is being glued down here. I'm just using it as a placeholder right now, exactly where I want it to be. And this is the center page, and I am going to create some type of tuck spot in there. Haven't quite decided yet, because I go through it a few times before I make the final decision. And so I want to make sure that all of the pieces look great. So as you're flipping through the pages, once it's done, that everything flows nicely. And they do, because it's a kit, and so you don't have to overthink it. It's just trying to find the perfect spot to make a little tuck spot or a pocket or a flip out. And so you see how I just leave that card or that tuck spot between the pages, because that's where it's going to live once I either stitch it down or glue it down. And so I take a look at everything, place it, hold it over, just to get an idea as to what it'll look like at the end. And this is just part of the process when I'm building my signatures and when I am using the ephemera to embellish the pages. So absolutely beautiful. One thing I don't show you that I completely spaced, you guys, is when I finally bind or stitch all of the pages together. I do a very simple three-hole pamphlet stitch, and I used hemp twine. I forgot to turn the camera back on to show you that process. So when I took it to the sewing machine and I brought it back, I completely forgot to turn on my camera, but here we are with the completed pocket notebook. So you could see I stitched a lot of the corner tucks and I want to say I used every single little piece of ephemera into this little notebook. Tons of writing space for whatever you wish to document. You know what this is, and I think I mentioned it earlier that this would be great as maybe a December daily, a planner. This is the only page I did not use as a signature in the signature pages, because I set it aside to use it for embellishing. And I took my tab punch and then I punched out 3 tabs and then attached them to the pages. But that was the only one that I had set aside. And here is the tuck spot. I did bring in some of my own personal stationery to place into the tuck spots, because I think I made more pockets and more side tucks. And so I wanted to bring in to also show you how you can bring in your own to-do lists for writing, for more journaling. And then this is a really pretty digital cutout it's a doily, and I just folded it in half and then paper clipped it onto one of those pages, which is perfect for note taking. And this is my favorite page here, the aquamarine blue with that red doily. I love that page. It is so beautiful and vibrant, and I'm so glad that the colors are showing through. And I think it's just because they're so, the colors are just so vivid. And they look so great on that printer. You know, this, on that printer paper, this HP Premium paper was actually recommended by Crafty Chica in one of her posts a couple years ago. And I made a note of it when I needed paper. That's the one that I purchased, and now I absolutely love it. I love this little tuck spot. Look at that beautiful lace, that scalloped edge there. I rarely do those up tucks, those top tucks. I rarely do those, but I love the way this looked. It reminded me of like a drape or a curtain, and it looks perfect to tuck one of those tags in there. And this is the center of the notebook, which has been bound with some hemp twine, and then I added a beautiful heart charm and also a beautiful little cross charm to dangle. I didn't want to bulk it too much. I do have the tendency to add a lot of beads to the center strings, but because this is a small notebook that will be tucked away, I didn't want to create too much bulk. And look at this beautiful flip out. This is one of the pockets, and I used some of the leftover scraps to create a hinge on that pocket so that when it flips out, it's attached to the page. So that is beautiful. I'm pointing out the images. I really just love the images of mother and child and baby Jesus. So stinking cute. I love this pocket, you guys. And then there's some of the sentiment strips that I cut out and attached. I love flip outs. I love tuck spots and pockets. And I love how these center pages turned out. Look at how beautiful and vibrant those look. Another tuck spots, the side tucks, these are the pages that I folded over, and I did some zigzag stitching at the top and at the bottom. And I love working with gold thread. And so there's gold thread on the front side, and then there's like an ombre thread on the other side. And it looks beautiful. I left the strings as they are because I want it to look a little bit junky. And that center one, I thought it would be fun to have a different size, some variety of paper sizes in there. So that was one of the postcard that was in the ephemera kit, and I just folded it in half and stitched it in there. And I think I love the way that turned out. And then this is the other pocket. Oh, I'm pointing out at that little boy. He's dressed like the little drummer boy. So cute. And then this is the other pocket that I glued. I stitched it at the bottom and then glued it down as a tuck spot to add. You could add receipts. You could add invoices, whatever you like. And then there was like a little bookmark in the ephemera kit and also a nice little journaling card. And then here is my favorite envelope that I used as a flip out as well. And I glued the flap on the inside of the page, and I'm pointing that out right there. And you could either, if you do a flip out, you could glue the flap on the opposite side so that you could see the beautiful print on the flap. But I glued this one to the inside because it is the last page. And then I tucked in a beautiful little journaling card from the kit, and then made a tuck spot from a smaller journaling, another tuck spot from a journaling card, and then one of the cut aparts as a note card in there. And I'm pointing out how they share the same beautiful image, the envelope, the front of the envelope, and also the front of the notebook. Look at how beautiful that looks. These colors are amazing. I love this little book, and just showing you how thin it is. But it is a perfect size, and because it has that layer of that sealer or the Mod Podge layer, it feels like a leather cover or like a vinyl cover or faux leather. And now I'm going to show you how perfectly it will tuck inside of the clutch. Now, The tabs are a little bit outside, but it still worked out perfectly. And I didn't measure that, so I just got lucky that they fit nicely in there. And then I'm just showing you how you could wrap it around. You can double wrap it and then do a bow, or you can just wrap it however you like. And the red velvet adds such a beautiful, beautiful touch. And I used green velvet in some of the other ones. And I show you in the part 1 video what the other clutches look like. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to tuck in a couple of other things just to show you that there's still a little bit of room left to put other things in there. So let's say you are running to the grocery store and you don't want to take your bag or your tote bag. All you need is your little notebook, your to-do list, tuck your cell phone in there, and then you can grab a pen and also stick it in there. Take your debit card, your credit card, and tuck it in there, and off you go. Isn't it beautiful? I love how these turned out. I'm also going to link, now the clutch, as I mentioned in part 1, it's not my original idea, you guys. That idea is from another creator, and I'm going to link her information down below so you can see where the inspiration came from. I'm so glad I was able to finish this project in the month of July, as I wanted to do Christmas in July, even though we are at the very end. But I'm so happy with the way this project turned out, and I'm so happy to be a part of TuCasaDePapel's design team. You guys are awesome. Don't go away. I'm going to say goodbye.
Hello again, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I appreciate you guys so much. And didn't you love it? Didn't it turn out just great? I sure hope that you take the time and you make some of these. You've got plenty of time before Christmas to create a few of these clutches and maybe some inserts. Maybe you want to create one for yourself, or maybe you want to make some as gifts. They are great stocking stuffers, as one of you said in my previous comments. Thank you so much. That was a fantastic idea. And so thank you for all of your input. I appreciate you. I also want to send each and every one of you a big heart, because guess what? We are at 7,000 subscribers. I am so excited, you guys. Thank you so, so much. Sending each and every one of you that is here, that has helped me reach this milestone, sending you a great big hug. If you love my content, please like, comment, share this. Share this with your friends, with your family, so that my videos and my content, my channel can get out to more viewers, and we can continue to grow, and I can continue to make more content for you. So I would love to get to 10,000 before the end of the year, and I know I can do it with your help. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.